Hey everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today I have a card to share that uses the October Simon Says Stamp card kit. For my card, I decided to go fall themed, and I'm going to be using a bunch of the different stamps from the stamp set, as well as the green pattern paper that you see there and the darker brown cardstock that comes in the kit. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of picking out what stamps I'm going to be using and just laying them onto the card base there and just getting my positioning and spacing and making sure that I'm going to have enough space to put the stamps on that I want and still be able to fit this piece onto my card front. And it's just going to be a standard 5.5 by 4.25 card with the top fold. So I've picked out my bird there as well as my sentiment, and I know that positioning the tree right around that area will still give me lots of space to put all my leaves on there. So now that I have that figured out, I'm just going to remove all the stamps and start my actual stamping on the card. So to do the first part, which is going to be the tree trunk, I'm going to be using the Cup of Joe Shadow ink from Hero Arts, and this is a really great brown ink for solid stamps like this. It's a nice dark color, and it gives really great coverage on the whole stamping area. So I'm just getting that on the stamp really well, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right onto the left side of the card there, where I had it laying onto the card when I figured out where I wanted to have everything going. So I'm just going to give that some good pressure and put that on there. And then once I have that stamped, I'm good to go to start putting all of my leaf images onto the tree. So for this stamp set, you get one big bunch of leaves that if you stamped all together would pretty much cover the whole entire tree. And then you also get a single stamp, a double stamp, and a triple stamp of leaves on their own. And I prefer the triple leaves as well as the single leaves when I'm doing my tree stamping, just because it gives more control over where your leaves are going to be positioned and lets you change up the different colors and get the tree exactly how you want it. Even though trees are definitely not perfect by any means, I like to try and make mine look as perfect as I can when I have the control over it when it's a stamped and not an actual real tree in the yard. So that's just my crazy self who is crazy OCD with stuff like that. So these little stamps give me that opportunity to make sure everything is evenly spaced with lots of great color and everything looks completely uniform when I'm finished. So for these leaves, I'm just using Just Rust, Pumpkin Pie, Field Greens, and Butter Bar Shadow Inks. And that gives a great combination of colors together when they're all mixed, as you can see there now that I have them all stamped. And I also stamped a couple of small leaves just kind of floating down from the tree, just making it look like they're falling off like they normally do in the fall time. So now that I have the tree fully done, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that piece of pattern paper with a little bit of an angle and just adhere that directly to the card front, and that's just going to mimic the grass area. I really liked the pattern on this pattern paper from Lawn Fawn, and it just was really fun to me, that pattern, so I really wanted to utilize that on this card. And now that I have that completely adhered on there, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp on my sentiment, and I'm just using the You're So Tweet, and these sentiments are really great because they kind of, to me, I don't know if they're actually intended to, but to me they look kind of like hydro wires that would be running along above trees. So I just thought it was kind of cute to have it positioned up above like that, and then just go ahead and put the bird onto that sentiment there so that it looks like he's sitting up on the hydro line. So now that I have him stamped on there, the front of the card is pretty much complete, so I can go ahead and start doing my card assembly. So I just have a piece of the brown cardstock that's come in the kit, as well as a little strip of one of the Lawn Fawn pattern papers, which is the blue and white polka dot. And I'm just kind of positioning this into the center of the card, leaving just a tiny bit of a space on the right hand side so you can see some of the brown card base. And then on the left hand side there's a larger bit of brown as well as the blue and white polka dot piece that I had already adhered. And then once I had the card fully adhered and put together, I decided it needed a little bit more of something on it just because it's relatively simple in that it's a one-layer stamped card. So I just went ahead and added some glitter with my Wink of Stella clear glitter marker, and I'm just putting that onto the bird as well as some of the leaves on the tree. I didn't want to do all the leaves and make it too sparkly, so I'm just kind of going around and picking random leaves and just adding that on top of them. And then once I had that completely finished, I just went ahead and used my corner chomper and rounded all four corners on the card just to soften the edges a bit to mimic the sentiment stamp as well as the soft lines of the tree. And then once that's done, the card is complete. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.